Hi, today I have a message called You Have a Communication Device for Love, and this title borrows from A Course in Miracles, which calls the body a communication device for love. So let's see where we go with it. Okay, the hallucination, that would be our perception of time and space, can take especially good and especially bad forms at your request. But the truth about you all is equal goodness without opposite, joined forever. And acknowledging where the idea of the hallucination taking especially good and especially bad forms at our request, I guess that can't cause fear, but believing an interpretation of it can cause fear, because fear is the signal that we have believed a lie from ego. So if we take the hallucination can take especially good and especially bad forms at request, and we allow ego to interpret that, then we may feel fear or anger or resistance. But if we allow spirit, what we all are together, to interpret that, we won't experience fear. We don't need the sign and signal that we've believed a lie. So isn't it interesting how the same statement can be a lie or not a lie based on the interpreter, and we know by how we feel. We always know when we've let ego interpret something. So going back, the hallucination can take especially good and especially bad forms at your request. The idea, I don't know why this is coming up here, because I don't usually refer to A Course in Miracles so much unless I'm reading from it. But let's just roll with it, see what happens. The idea that the script is written comes up in A Course in Miracles. And at least in my perception, it's an idea that often gets discussed in Course circles. And before we take another step further on that path, for me to allow ego to judge one brother or sister discussing that topic, and for me to evaluate or interpret whatever conclusions anyone seems to come to on this topic, would be misdirection. I'm following the misdirection of the ego. Because what's the truth of it? Us, we're joined as goodness without opposite, and goodness without opposite forever. Full stop, nothing more to be said about it. So I can't get caught on one of these side paths of trying to evaluate or interpret something. This feels delicate. And I'm like, are we sure words are the instruments for communicating this? But yeah, whatever. Whatever. Let's see where words take us. Okay. So there's that idea that comes up, and I do not think any attempt to interpret the script is written is going to arise here. So what is going to arise here? I feel like right here is a space where something fertile and good can come, and I'm just making way for it. We don't want to blame anyone or ourselves. So when the hallucination takes a form and we call it good or we call it bad, it's all according to the ego, and it all comes at our request. There's where ego judgment comes in. There's where I've believed a lie. There's the cause of my feeling. Interpreting it as good or bad. But at the same time, as we begin to shed our shackles, open our eyes, we see the full power of the transformative effect of doing that. and then gentle sights and sounds meet our eyes. When we're with a divine sibling and they seem to be having trouble, they're our teacher, our student, our patient, our therapist, and we're the same to them, and we're together. And as we sit in that together and move through that together and say yes to that opportunity and let all the miracles that are available come in, of course transformation occurs. Of course it does. Because it's like if time and space is a scribble we made to prove that there's opposition, when we allow the power of the miracle that's here, it's behind every single problem is a miracle, then of course our hallucination mirrors back to us our innocence, our gentleness, our kindness. Of course it does. But when an accusing voice or a blaming voice tries to get in on talking about this, that's not my voice and it's not yours. It's like the alien will I made, and any eye can say I made it because we're all the same eye, to seem to appear here and to fight the only thing that could be real, and that's goodness without opposite. So it's like a continual process of being aware of when any tiny degree of stress or tension has entered in, and stopping to reorient. And that just gets deeper and deeper as we go along, because we may realize, oh my goodness, there was so much stress and tension there that I didn't even know was there, because I called my social face, maybe this is what the Course calls the face of innocence, like relaxation and kindness and friendliness, and I had no idea it was a defensive social base constructed out of fear. It was a defense. And I'm really starting to feel this now, and sort of to sink into it as I surrender the perception of it. The thing we've been valuing that seems to give us separate agency, our own separate volition. And we just give it away, give it away, give it away, wherever we're valuing it. I'm going to go back over this first statement to see if anything else wants to be said. I'm at the same time I'm speaking, ego's active, and it's trying to evaluate. Did you say what you were supposed to say? Did you? So I have to just stop. Okay, let's let that one go. We want to let clarity speak. The hallucination can take especially good and especially bad forms at your request. So just, I wanted to see strife. I wanted to see opposites. And the waking up to, oh my goodness, this is ridiculous and not necessary. And when I start to feel that stress or tension, no matter how tiny the degree, it's a signal that I'm believing that the opposites I ask to see are real and powerful on their own. But the illusions of the opposites I seem to see can only draw on the power of love that we all share. And that's it. That's all they can do. So when I learn to look directly toward that power and be grateful for that power, and seeing everyone as having access to that power, then everything can follow from there. Okay, your belief in cause and effect of the hallucinated world can be replaced. So there is a cause and effect we observe in time, and we believe it's coming from the world, and the effect is within the limits and boundaries of the world. So within the limits and boundaries of the time and space world, there seems to be a cause in this world, and then there seems to be an effect, and that is subject to the limits and boundaries of this world. And if you just replace all of that with freedom, total freedom for everyone and everything, total freedom. And we can find ourselves in a moment of stress or tension. And that stress or tension indicates, I am believing in the cause and effect observed in a time-bound world. I believe that cause and effect is real. And that belief can be replaced. What am I reorienting toward today? The Holy Christ is born in me today. I think something like that. Pretty close. Close enough. So reorienting. And every single tiny little symbol that appears to be in our world can be used for the benefit of all of us by who and what we all are together. And that's just allowing. That's not separate volition. That's just allowing and acknowledging, like we get informed. If there's something for us to say, the words will be given to us. If there's something for us to do, the action will be given to us. And every day, every moment, this is what time is for now, is a chance to just sink into this and allow it. Miracles are beyond all boundaries of time and space. So, I want to say it's essential to see, but maybe it isn't. It's not essential for the ego to see. Kind of like your memory coming back to you. I think that feels like the most accurate description. It's like our memory coming back to us of, we're not bound at all. We're not limited at all. And yet I keep seeing and experiencing these limits. And I have a willingness to see that that very strict and rigid belief replaced, altered in my sight, in my experience. Okay, you can observe how you believe. I don't know what I said here. I'll just read it as it is. You can observe how you believe is a causative element in both healing and destruction. Did I skip a word? All right, I'm going to pause and re-receive it. So I can observe healing and destruction in opposition to each other, like sometimes in the world of opposites, there seems to be healing, and sometimes in the world of opposites, there seems to be destruction. And if I'm struggling to try to control it and stay on top of it in this hectic, dangerous world of opposites, I might try to turn toward the healing and focus on that and bring that about and try to stay one step ahead of the destruction. But the broader, truer healing, the healing that's here in every moment for all of us, is healing the idea that healing versus destruction, the destruction of illness or injury or death, that's real. That idea of those two opposites fighting each other, one seeming to dominate for a while and then the other seeming to dominate for a while. Like we think health in general might dominate in younger age, and injury and illness and death might dominate in a later age, in general, of course. Those beliefs, those ideas, those expectations of one opposing another, can be replaced by the healing of all of that. All of that. So whenever any sense of disturbance comes upon the scene, we have a choice. We can blame some element in time and space for causing the destruction or the discomfort or the problem. It could be a condition, a person, an institution, a thing, right? We can pick out some separate element of time and space and blame it for the perceived problem. Or we can go into healing our belief that there are opposites. There's healing and health and well-being, and that's in opposition to destruction, illness, unhappiness, injury, death. And one can dominate for a while, but then the other's going to dominate for a while. And that whole belief can be set down and can be replaced. If the truth of what we are is life eternal, in total well-being and joy and peace, then why are we seeing and experiencing this? Because we wanted to. So now our objective is to become aware of when belief in one opposite struggling against and dominating over another opposite, wherever we think that's real, and setting that down. And remember, what is without opposite is here. Life eternal, goodness without opposite, that's here. That's you, that's me, that's what we are. It's like the memory of ourselves coming back to us. And we can put that in charge of however the rest of the illusion is going to play out. The illusion's finite. We don't need to try to make any illusion eternal. The illusion's finite. Life is eternal. So we put life eternal in charge of what should be done with this hallucination. What should be done with this illusion? Life eternal can be in charge of it, not a dreamed up separate one to be an actor within an illusion. And then in your still active role as a dreamed up separate one, whatever part you need to play becomes obvious. You're given your script, and then you can follow it. And this might just be walking around the world being happy. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I bring these messages through, and they're helpful for me, but I also feel like there's a time when it'll be more like my job is to just be here and be happy. And that was the whole point of this. And if I have to talk for a while, that serves its purpose too. But the real job is happiness, allowing that to return and allowing that to be in charge. True happiness, joy, goodness without opposite. Okay. Oh, I just said that kind of. Okay. For now, you have a communication device for love, and there is no need to attack it in any way. So the body can be seen as a communication device for love. And if you still seem to be in a body, there's a purpose it can serve that benefits all. So the body doesn't have to be a problem. It can just be a tool, a neutral tool. And you are not the body, but you're giving yourself a body experience right now. And within that experience, the body's a neutral tool, like a telephone, that can be used to communicate love. So here's our neutral tool, and it can be used for communication. And we have no idea what form that's going to take, but we can be informed moment to moment. When the ego tries to inform us, about how to use the body, more and more we'll be aware that it doesn't feel good. And so we'll need to stop and reorient. And when we reorient, it's like acknowledging the power source that's here for us that can inform us about how the body should be used. And it can feel like following and carrying out instructions. I think especially because I still have the border and the boundary of I'm going to refuse. If I don't like it, I'm going to refuse. Obviously, ego. But it also does feel like being done through. Spirit does it through you. You are spirit. And I think that that border and that boundary eases and melts sort of as the light, sort of washes back and forth in and through us. Okay. So there's no need to attack it in any way. And when we feel stress, our thoughts, the ego thoughts that have come into our awareness, they attack bodies. Minds can't attack, but ego places all of its investment in being the experience of the body, when being is prior to and beyond that. It's prior to and beyond the very idea of having a body. So ego puts all its eggs in one basket. And when I feel stress or tension, I've believed thoughts from ego, and those thoughts attack bodies. Even the especially positive ones. And it doesn't mean that I have to try to not have positive thoughts or express positive things. Not at all, because spirit can use all of that. But when I'm feeling stress or tension, you can notice that it might be related to an especially positive evaluation of a body. Or a concept or a thing but let's look at bodies for now. It can seem to cause pain and stress. So in that sense, when we do feel the stress and tension, it can be a breakthrough to see it's not just the negative thoughts, it's the especially positive thoughts. When we've set ourselves the task of idolizing someone or something, trying to get something from them as a separate entity, to get it for our separate entity, when really we share everything. Goodness without opposite is what we share. And the more we stop to reorient when we feel stress and tension, in Christian language, the Christ, the oneness we all are, it's within all of us. And we can orient toward that and put that in charge as many times as we need to. Okay, to believe attack thoughts is to believe that attack is possible, and then to see what you requested to see. I'm fighting a little bit. I have to disclose that, because I'm thinking of, I don't know how to describe it, strife in the Middle East. Right? And looking at that, because ego's going to find suffering as sacred, and if you start messing around with the valuable idea of suffering, whatever suffers is not part of me, ego's gonna fight, and I'm feeling that fight here. But if we look seemingly far away to a conflict, and the urge to interpret, analyze, categorize, blame is there, and saying no to this urge and reorienting toward what is the same in everyone involved in any conflict anywhere, but my mind got drawn to Israel, Palestinian people, trying to find villains, trying to find victims, and how to be truly helpful, and understanding ego can't really tell us that. There's one voice, and it's our shared voice, that can guide all of us through and out of our imaginings in ways that are truly helpful to all of us. And it's okay to say no to reactivity, and no to fear, and no to anguish, and to settle down into what's here for all of us. Tune into that and allow that to be in charge. It's more than okay, it's very powerful. And if you look at ego's need to see guilt elsewhere, doesn't it seem as if the seemingly very worst forms of guilt are far away from you? And then you have your others in your daily life seemingly to contend with too. But you can look at any aspect of your time and space experience that seems to be the cause of pain, stress, tension, anguish. And you can reorient with the intention, of course they use me, this is for me, with the intention to be truly helpful. And as we reorient, we don't know the form it's going to take. And ego wants to get in there and say, I'm going to be in charge of saying yes or no. I'm going to decide if this is good for you or not. I'm going to protect you. So I'm just exposing the ego's voice that says that, and that I believe. Sometimes, if not most of the time, that voice that says it will protect me from intrusions, from too much, from giving too much. From overextending. And just see what comes in the wake of that. Because we can enact many forms of suffering under the ego's guidance. So it's funny that the ego tells us it will protect us and keep us away from suffering. At the same time, it sponsors suffering because our identity, our separate identities, depend both on experiencing suffering and on seeing others experience suffering. Without suffering, without attack, without bodies attacking, there's no separate identity. There's no fear. And of course, we're still experiencing bodies. So anything we use to be part of our dream of suffering gets repurposed. Every single tiny little thing gets repurposed to carry us safely, gently, lovingly through and out of the dream. The dream's finite, and you're eternal. So yes, we're seeing what we requested to see. And now we can request to see the healing of everything without exception. And we can, reorient toward that healing of everything without exception many, many times during the day. And as we reorient, we have no idea what the effect of reorienting that way is going to be. But what comes with it is the ability and the ease and the support in doing whatever it is the wholeness of us would have us do. So doing my best to stop often, to reorient, to open up past any idea the ego has of protecting a separate me. And just seeing the safety, the true safety. Not a safety that depends on suspicion. With the true safety that all of us share. What would it have me say? What would it have me do? Where would it have me go? We get to find out today. Okay, thank you.